Hello, today I'm working on an Asus Pro P2520LA laptop. This laptop came in with the power DC in jack separate. The owner said it fell out, which is never a good sign. So on the end here you can see the hinge has broken free, and so opening the laptop is causing that area to separate. So when you open it like this, you can see the top plate is flexing and it's making that gap bigger. So I think both of these hinges are damaged and need to be repaired, and obviously the DC in jack needs to be repaired as well. Also, the owner got this laptop from somebody else with the screws missing. So there are, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 screws missing. So I'll pop the battery out to start with. Oh, 2 more screws, 4 more screws missing. So yeah, loads of screws missing from this laptop. Is there a separate screw for this optical drive? I'm not sure. So that's missing. Oh, what is here? That's no screw, I think. Oh, this whole oofta. So there are different screws in the front than there were in the back here, much smaller in diameter. Right, that's all the screws out, and this thing is just dying to come apart. There's a wire attaching the speakers. You can see that there are speakers in the bottom case and they're attached by this wire. This wire has the blue dot facing up. Probably only goes in one way anyway. At least they gave enough slack where you can lay that down, which is always nice. This looks familiar. I've seen a laptop like this before. Boy, wow. So the DC in jack, oh dear. The DC in jack is soldered onto the motherboard. Was soldered onto the motherboard and broken off. So, I can see where those were. That might be repairable, but probably should just buy a new one. Wow, look at that. It just snaps right in. I'm gonna try to repair that rather than replace it. These hinges, I'm kind of afraid of what I'm gonna find when I open these hinges up. So this is also broken. You can see the optical drive is normally held in with plastic clips. So there should be a plastic clip like this one where it just reaches over. There's a bit of plastic over here. And there's a missing bit here and a missing bit here, and this bit is damaged from the optical drive flopping around. This bit's still there, so there's 2 out of the 5 little plastic bits that are still intact. I might slide this out and see what repairs need to be done there. It's a bit crummy in here. So that's the back side of the keyboard. I'll try to keep that from going under the motherboard. Well, this motherboard needs to come out for the repair, for the soldering. There's an SSD in here, 240 gigabyte. It looks like some generic SSD. I'm definitely going to do some kind of repair here. I don't know what. I mean, if I super glue that over, if I had another bit of something I could glue on there, I'm sure I have some bit of plastic I can farm from something else maybe. And then the fan is caked in dust, so I'm gonna blow that out as well. Found one of the broken bits of plastic. I'm gonna tip this laptop over and see what plastic falls out of it. I've found another one of the little black bits that's missing. So that's 4 out of 5 that I have, which I think will suffice. Oh no, actually there's only 2 missing, because there's that one is still intact. So I've got both of the bits that I'm missing, so I can glue those in when I'm gluing the hinges together. I'm assuming I'm going to be gluing the hinges together. Let's find out what the story is with these hinges. So 2 of these 3 screws were very loose. Okay, so let's see, these were outside. I'm just going to organize my screws here. So that's a hinge screw, and that's a hinge screw. Oh, I'm afraid I just bent this little metal plate here. It's fine. Bend it back. Well, that metal plate's going to have to come up anyway to do this hinge repair, because I can see that all of this plastic under here. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it is okay. Actually, I think this hinge over here is okay. Maybe. I'm going to put the screws back in just to keep it secure. Yep, that's tight. Yep. So we've got 1 good hinge and 1 bad hinge. Presumably 1 bad hinge. We'll find out here in a second. There are 4 screw holes. 1 came from the outside holding the bottom case on, and then these 3 screws here need to come off. This one has a ground strap on it. Very loose. I wonder if it's just loose. No, it's not screwing into anything. That one was just loose, and that one was just loose. So there's 1 of the 3 screw holes has a problem. Might be good. It's not coming out. Okay, well, I need to disconnect the display cable. I'm tempted. I'm going to separate the display assembly from the main body of the computer, because doing so will make the hinge repair safer. There will be no threat of me damaging the display assembly with super glue. And it will also give me just a little bit more flexibility, maybe. So in order to do that, I'll need to disconnect the display cable and these 2 Wi-Fi antenna wires, which are taped down here, and a wire loom there, wire looms, more tape, and then free. Oh, there's a big bare spot in those on purpose. So there's the display connector. I'm going to just move this power jack, which is broken off of the motherboard, so I don't lose it. Now, this screw won't come out. I'm going to put a little pressure underneath. There we go. Okay. So let me flip that hinge back. So the hinge is tight on the display assembly. So the problem is just with the screw inserts and probably with the plastic around them, but we'll find out here momentarily. Okay, so there's the computer free from the display assembly. Yeah, and you can see when you look carefully in here, I can see that this metal insert is not lined up properly. Yeah, it's just loose in there. So I need to get the motherboard out. I always ground myself for these jobs because my chair causes me to generate a lot of static electricity when I move. If I get up out of my chair and touch something, I get really strongly zapped. Wow, this VGA cable or VGA connector is bent as well. Wow, I'm surprised it hasn't caused more damage, in fact. Right, so it looks to me like there are a couple of ribbon cables. There's a ribbon cable here and here and here and here. I'm gonna take the SSD out because I can see that it's screwed into the motherboard. That screw is missing. That screw is like not screwed in at all. That's concerning. Let's see, so these are hinges, these are hinges. I'm gonna take this ribbon cable. This ribbon cable latch is up, so it was not, oh no, never mind. There's a missing screw here, which I don't think came through the back cover. Let me just check. Nope, there were no screws coming through the middle. So there's a missing screw here. Let's see, these 3 out of 4 screws are for the SSD. Now I'm just going to disconnect the rest of these ribbon cables here. Over here we have... Now I don't know if the heat sink is holding the motherboard down or not. I'll find out in a moment. I'm going to undo all the other screws first. I don't see that many motherboard screws. I see one here, maybe the fan screws. Yeah, there's definitely something else holding it down. I'm going to take the fan out. Okay, I think that was it. So the fan is unscrewed but still taped onto the heatsink. I did test this computer. I turned it on just to make sure that it turns on before I do anything. I've learned the hard way that if I don't prove to myself that something works before I take it apart, I sometimes put it back together and it doesn't work, and I'm not sure if it was me or if it was non-functional before I started working on it. So I've learned the lesson the hard way to always check that something works before you start working on it. Now, I see loads of potential problems here. That's just grime, and it's from the hinge. So it's where this area meets this area of the chassis. So I guess that's okay. But it looks like liquid damage here, which would be under the touchpad, which I guess would be a likely place to show water damage. Also, there's a SD card reader. Oops, I'm not showing that very well. So here, this is under the touchpad, and then the SD card reader and these USB ports. These are all showing evidence of water damage. So this is the front of the laptop, the bottom of the board here. The back of the laptop looks okay except for that darkened area near the hinge. And yeah, when I look at the chassis, I can also, or the top plate, I can see the water damage there. It looks like milk or tea or something. Yeah. And crumbs, loads of crumbs have come through the keyboard and are on the other side of this, I don't know what you call it, a barrier, bladder. It's a plastic sheet that's glued down. I don't want to remove it. But I'm going to need to do something here because I need to get underneath. I need to get under here in order to fix that. Unless I just glue it in place. If I just dab some super glue in there. Let's see, the power switch is in there as well. What? Oh, wow, okay. So this, in the middle of this big ground panel here, is the power switch. Yep. Wow. It's a surface mount component that is the power switch. Okay. I think I'm going to glue this first because that's annoying me. I'm going to blow this all out. When I blow this out, I'm going to stick this tool through here to hold that metal insert in place so it doesn't blow away. And then I'm going to blow the motherboard out as well, so I might as well just put it roughly in place. Okay, back short. Another little piece of plastic fell out. Okay. I think I might put a screw in there to make sure it is lined up properly. Or will I just put a forceps? And that's not quite tight enough, is it? There's no plastic around that. So this whole metal frame is part of the top plate, and it's sort of melted in or riveted in, I guess. I like to call it rivets because it's basically a rivet where there's a plastic post that comes through and is melted down to hold it in place. So either I bend this back or I just super glue that in place. Torn. I think I might do both. I think I might stick a drop of super glue in there, with the screw in place so that I know it's in the right XY alignment. If I can put a dab of super glue on there, and then I'll work on the motherboard, and then I'll come back when that super glue is hardened, and then I might bend this up so that I can add some reinforcement inside there. Just going to get a paper towel, and this is probably going to be glued shut from the last time. Maybe not, actually. That feels like it might not be. No, there's no glue coming out of there. How deep do you go? Oh, it's just right there. Okay. Sometimes you can tweak this super glue nozzle a little bit and it breaks out whatever was hardened in there. I never want to squeeze it too hard though, because I'd hate for this to come blasting out all at once. Okay. Oh, here it comes. See? Not good. On my finger and everything. Okay. So I'm just going to try to get in the edge here. Definitely got super glue in there, but did it touch what I needed to touch? There. I'm going to get that screw out of there so it doesn't get glued in. Making a meal of it. Okay. Oh, come on. I've given up on that approach because I'm afraid I'm gluing that screw into the metal insert. So I can see that that's where it belongs. So I think I'm going to maybe add another dab of glue. Another drop of glue. Yeah, got it. Okay. And then we'll come back to that later. Let's make sure I get the glue off of my tweezers. All right, now I'm going to take this heat sink off. I want to get this motherboard down to, I just want to make it easier to manipulate this motherboard. So I'll take out the Wi-Fi card because that doesn't need to be there. I'll take the fan and heat sink off. Never hurts to reapply the thermal paste. I feel like the liquid damage something. Wow, okay. So now I'm going to give this a little twist because I don't want to pull straight up and yank the chip off of the motherboard. Can't really lift it up though because it's sticking through a little hole there. Okay, there we go. Perfect. A lot of thermal compound, but that's fine. Okay. So let's have a look at this under the microscope. This can't really see. Darken this. What is going on there? Are those both positive? So maybe the frame is negative. Okay. Can't quite tell which way this is meant to go. It was supposed to come up underneath, like that. I think because these are long, they are presumably what has broken off of here. I think this thing needs to be replaced. Yeah. So it would come up from underneath because I can see that that's where those tabs are. I mean, I think I could probably solder this in so that it stays, but I'm actually not sure. It's not quite going all the way down, is it? So, let's see. That there. Oh, no, I've got it wrong. It needs to go this way because this tall bit here, this is sticking up about, well, a couple millimeters anyway. You can see these two bits that are tall are what are broken off of the back of here. So these two things would meet those two things. Now I think this all just needs to come out and be re-solder a new one. If I can find a new one. Although that feels pretty good. I think I'm too close in. I don't know. I'm tempted to try. I want to try because I feel like it's so close. You know, like this is actually touching where it needs to be. But it's gonna need to absorb so much force. What if I hot glue it? I've got hot glue here. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try to solder it. Yeah, I think that's the right tip. It's gonna be I think I might have popped that connector out of the board while it was heating up. I'm not sure this is going to work after all. So let's see. I'm going to have to rotate this so I can get the soldering iron in there. Got too much solder on there. I mean, that's making a connection. It's ugly. So now I'm going to dab some solder on both sides here. I mean, yeah, it's ugly, but it looks solid. God, that VGA connector looks bent. Can't quite get in there. It's not quite working because I think I've pushed it back out. Although maybe not. God, that VGA connector looks atrocious. It's definitely bent. I'm gonna see if we have a connection. Wish I had my universal charger kit. I could. I mean, that looks terrible, doesn't it? Oh, and I dripped solder on there as well. Okay. No, it's just bent. Well, let me make sure that the positive is not shorted to ground. So put the meter in diode mode, and I'm just going to check for continuity between the ground and that positive. Ooh. Oh no, that's continuity. It's not a dead short. Like if I go from the ground to a ground, I get a dead short. If I go to the positive side, or from a ground to there, so if I put my positive on the ground, which I'm going right onto this screw hole here, and then check here, I get some resistance, which is fine because it's going through the circuit. If I go to the ground, that's great. Okay, and positive to positive. This side's not actually working. Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm gonna flip it over and check here. So I'm on positive, or I'm on a ground here. Touching the positive, I get some resistance. That's good. I feel like we might be okay. So let's trace that over and interrogate where it goes to. So there's a positive trace that comes down here. Both of these positive traces come down to here. So are these the same? They are. Okay. I mean, I feel like that's okay. I might plug this in, see what we get. So we'll sort out our thermal paste situation. This is not factory thermal paste as far as I can tell. Usually the factory thermal paste will be really hard and it'll just crumble. This is somewhere between fresh paste and that crumbly factory stuff. So it's probably something a repair technician put on a while ago. And there's a lot of it. There's more than the factory would put on. Okay. Alright, put some MX4 on there. I'm not adding more, I'm just dabbing it around because I never trust these heat spreaders when maybe I should. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a guide hole on this fan, or guide pin on the fan that goes into a guide hole on the board. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to plug in the HDMI. Doesn't quite want to go in there, and I don't want to break this connector off. Whoa, there is something wrong with the HDMI connector. It's got something in there. Okay, try this again. Yeah. Just going to measure voltage on the board to make sure that we've got voltage where we think we do and voltage where we don't need it, not voltage where we don't need it. So let's see, gonna feel for heat as well. Okay, 20 volts there, 5.4. All right, we've got voltage in the motherboard in the right places. Nothing's heating up. 19.5 there. Okay. Oh yeah, where was the power switch? It's on the other side of this. So I wonder, can I reach that? Can hear it. Oh yeah, I've got BIOS. Alright, well, this seems like a reasonable temporary fix. I might contact the customer to see what they would prefer to do, if they'd like me to order a new jack or just go with this temporary one. Because I kind of feel like this computer, I just don't know. I mean, it's got a burst, Patriot burst, 240 gigabyte SSD, and 4 gigs of RAM. There's the fan coming on. So 1.3 there. We've got 7 volts. That's weird. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do. I'm kind of loath to just glue this in there. But then again, that might be what the customer wants. I'm going to phone him up and see what he'd like to do. I think the difference is, before I decide, I'm going to Google, I'm going to search eBay and Amazon. I'm going to look for a replacement power jack for this to see if it's even possible to find one, and if so, how much it would be and how long it'll take to get here. And we'll let that help us decide what to do. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to see if this fits properly in the laptop, and if so, I might add a dab of hot glue to make it solid and just go with that, because I think the replacement part that I'm seeing on the internet doesn't have much more material than this did. So I think what we've got here is going to be perfectly reasonable. So let me put it back together and see what happens. Got to fix this first. So is that, yeah, that's glued in place. I need to be careful because the power button is just below here. Yeah, I can see more than one of these screw inserts is looking a bit broken. Yeah, both of these are. So I do need to bend this back. I'm going to bend this back and fix these and then try to get it bent forward again in the right place. This is a little bit dodgy. I might end up requiring a new top plate for this. So if I can put this here, Maybe here, yeah. And then this here, I want to bend it way back up here by the original bend and not add another one in. Okay. Yes, this is a lot more extensive damage than I initially saw before I opened it up. So let's get to work on this. Right, upon closer inspection, I can see this screw boss is damaged. This one looks okay. This one is destroyed, and this one is as well. So I did manage to screw that, or to glue that screw in place. Just gonna move some things around here. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult to get that back into its original position if that other piece of plastic breaks out. But I think I can get it. Just doesn't want to sit flat on here with this piece sticking up like that. I think I might try to glue that down and stick this in at the same time. No. This came over though. All the plastic on this thing is just half broken. So I was going to glue this back in place while I have my super glue open. Let me get some baking soda. I keep telling myself I'm going to try the hot glue technique, but I just can't bring myself to slather hot glue over a customer's laptop. I mean, that is going to be good, I think. Let me try to do the same over here. What is going on here? I feel like I've picked up baking soda in the tip. There we go. Oh, I think I might have got some inside the threads there. Hope not. Oh, I hope you are straight. Okay. Ooh. Okay, big chunk of plastic just fell off of there. I think we need some reinforcements. Yeah. So I'm gonna drop some glue and some baking soda in here. Amazon delivery. Hello. Thanks very much.
Cheers, good morning.
Okay, I think that's enough. I think it'll be a bloody miracle if this goes back together smoothly, considering all the plastic that came out of there and the potential for glue getting into threads. This seems a little high. I'm going to just shave that down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, good. I think there was a pilot hole. That's a little high. It's all good. I think we're okay here. We'll see. I'll let it dry and come back and put it back together. Unfortunately, I forgot that the power button is on the other side of here, and it's just a flexible piece of plastic, and I glued part of it down. So I'm going to need to unglue that. So I'm going to cut some of this resin that I've created away, but it's really this backside that is the problem. So I'm going to cut what I can away, and then I'll break out the acetone if needed, because I really do want to keep as much of this reinforcement around that screw boss as I can, but obviously the power button needs to be able to move. Okay, that's working fine. What I'll probably end up doing is putting some acetone on this knife edge and creating a channel, cutting a little channel between the metal insert and the power button. But first I want to make sure I get the top of it clear. Maybe I should get something thinner, like a razor blade. I think a bit of resin fell in there, but that's fine. I'll get that out. Yeah, this is going to work. This will be fine. What a terrible design. Okay, so that side's moving. That's good. Need to finish my lunch. Almost. Okay, I just need to be careful not to cut that. I also need to get this clear as well. I wish I had noticed that when I was doing this. Feel a little bit silly. I need some better light here. Let me get this around here. So I just need to cut between, there's this plastic spring. It's mounted here and here, and I've glued it, inadvertently glued it down here. It's nearly free. Oh yeah, you can see it moving now. There we go. Oh, that was just the tip of the razor blade breaking. You can see that it is still stuck here. I need to do this without breaking the plastic that makes up that spring, because it's probably a little bit fragile, like the rest of the plastic in this thing. There, I think that power button probably moves enough. So there's the tip of the razor blade, I think. Yeah. And let's see if I can get this freed up as well. I think I need to clear that out. Ooh, that looks a bit rough up here. Okay. So I've got it moving. Whether or not it's going to be freely moving enough, I'm not quite sure. It looks like it does come out though. I might try to take this off. No, actually I won't. It would be easier to clear some of that excess, some of the interfering plastic away if this was off. Maybe I can just scrape along here. Yeah. Okay. I feel like this might be fine. Probably just need to tidy it up just a little bit. Okay, I hate when I make mistakes. Oh. Maybe if I stick this under there, I can then get more of an angle on that. As I push down. Yeah. Okay, let's see if these screws go in. Yeah, there's some glue inside the threads on that one. Possibly on that one as well. I'm going to get some acetone out. Yeah, okay. So, if this motherboard was in place, will the power jack fit? And will all of that fit? God, that VGA connector is just so bent. Alright. I'm going to put it all back together and see if the power button works. That's my biggest concern right now. I think that might be a little bit low. Oh yeah, so that power button's not, the spring is not in place. Oh sure it is. But there should be room under here for that to travel, right? Alright, let's fix that. So the power button's not being sprung back down. I think there's stuff under it. I'm going to blow this out. Okay, I'm going to put a dab of super glue on the end of that spring because it doesn't want to stay down. I'm also going to bend this a little bit differently so that there's room for the power button to travel when you press it. Because right now I think I've got this bent a little too, I don't know, bent a little too much. There. Okay, now there's room for that power button to travel. So we just need to let that dry a little bit. I've scrambled the locations of my screws a little bit. So those are outside, these were inside. Right, I'm just going to have to check. Right, I need some acetone. Okay, so I put a little super glue on that spring. I put some acetone inside these two holes and cleared the threads. So now I'm going to put the motherboard back in and see if everything fits. Here we go. That all feels okay. What about the power button? Can't really tell about the power button until we get it in there, but it's probably okay. Okay, so I've started putting this back together and we'll see if it works. I really hope it does. The alternative is that I'll take it back together and probably order a new power jack and just get all of the, dissolve all the super glue out of here to fix up that power switch. Because I think that's what I'm most concerned about is the power switch. I really don't like the way they designed this. I might also look into how much a top plate with keyboard costs for this. Might be worth it instead. So the fan, just these 3 little screws. Optical drive. So this glue didn't seem to have any effect on this. I think I do need to put something in there to stop that from raising up. I mean, if I could just glue this little piece of plastic, or a little piece of plastic onto here, I feel like that would help. I'm gonna try that. That's good. Okay, so I think that's good. I'm going to screw the CD drive in. Okay, let's put the display assembly on. So just got to get it up and under the hinges, so I've done that. And see if this all fits together. So this cable goes under that. I think I need to plug this in so that I can route that cable properly. Feels like something may not fit correctly. Oh no, that's alright. It's not quite straight. There we go. Shoot. I think I should have run these wires underneath that hinge. I'm going to pop it back open, if I can. That's definitely not strong enough. This might be. Yes, I think that goes under there. And then through here, under this bit of tape. To there. Goes under that bit of tape too. Onto here. There we go. Right, now there's this ground wire. I think we're good. Let's try this hinge again. Alright. So it looks like these 3 screws, one of them is longer than the others. Don't know why. It doesn't seem very long. I think I want the shorter one here. Oh, I know, I want the longer one here. With the ground strap, maybe. Alright, let's see if this fits. Plug the speaker wire in. Yeah. So there's sort of no conflict around the repair work that I can see. Plenty of missing screws though, I tell you. I wonder what these ones are. Maybe they're these longer ones. Let's see. They look quite long. Oh, I bet they're narrower though. Yep. Let's try some of these. These might not be long enough. Oh, but they are. Okay. So we'll get these corners screwed in. Oh no! This case has a hole. Alright, it's gotta come back out. Oh man. Right, so it looks like this bit of plastic is broken out. You can see straight through it. There's no bit to screw onto there. Oh man, there's not a lot you can do about that. So that screw just went all the way through. and into the hinge. I wonder if we can fix that. This is a tricky one. I've done this before, but it was not easy. I filled it in with baking soda and super glue. Really what it needs is a bit of thick plastic with the right size hole in it, which is kind of hard to come by. This might be a case for hot glue. I'm going to try it. I'm going to put some hot glue on this, see what we can do. So let me just clean up a little bit here. This one's for you, Soren. I mean, I'm tempted to try to glob some hot glue on the top here, but maybe what I should do... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to put hot glue... Oh, it's very hot. Let's turn it down a little bit. I don't think I did a very good job of that. I think it needs to be a little bit thicker. While that's still soft, I'm going to put this screw through here. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to leave it halfway in. So it's grabbed some threads and it's embedded in glue, and I think it's going to hold. Nope, that doesn't go there. It's here. Now, what type of screw goes there? I really want to clamp this. One of these? No, that's too thin. So that goes in the front. Right, what kind of screws go in there? Maybe it's these longer ones. Well, even that's not long enough. Okay. I don't have any other screws that might fit there. What about these back here? It's not quite lined up. I'm not sure what good that's doing. It's not biting anything. Come on, screw. What the hell? Okay, so that was not quite long enough for that. Break out the random screws. I see them. One of those maybe. See, those are too big. That's too small. And that's too big. I was afraid that was going to happen. That's so weird. That screw. Okay, stuff like that. It's quite a loose fitting. Well, the power button works. We have Windows. Well, that's great. We're running off the DC in right now. I want this to show in the taskbar. Okay, so I'm gonna plug the battery in and see if it charges. This thing is quite grubby. I don't know what that is. Alright, yeah, this power adapter, it's okay. It fits, but not great. And I feel like the hinges are much better than they were, so I'm happy. Battery's charging. Yeah, the Wi-Fi works. Wow, this is getting almost 200 megabits per second download. Wireless connections rarely get very high speed like that. So this particular one seems to be doing all right. Hear the fan. So that hot glue does harden. It gets quite hard when it's dry. So I think we're in good shape with this one. I'm going to run Windows Update and let the customer know what I did. Get the computer back to them. Let me clean this up first. Right, I'm just going to shut down, clean this thing up, and get it back to its owner. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Click the like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching.